Thomas Barefoot from Barefoot Sound. We're here to talk about the new Micromain 26. Pardon my scratchy voice. It's Halloween night last night, so we had a good time. I'm a little hoarse. We got the MM26. The way I usually start talking about the MM26 is I first point to the 27, because I think if you a lot of people are familiar with the MM27, and it's a good place to pivot from in explaining what the differences is, because the MM26 and the MM27 are built in essentially the same chassis, have mostly the same designs, but there's in the MM26 there's now the addition of a mid-range driver. So the original concept of the MM27 was really it was people felt like it was a kind of a radical design when it came out, but really was based on a relatively conservative notion that I wanted to stick with the basic format of a small two-way near field. That kind of that sound, the way that speaker translates. And so all the low frequency stuff, all the side firing woofers, the extra mid bass, all this kind of stuff was really is really there to kind of magnify this two-way approach, to make a small a speaker that behaves like a small two-way, but has the depth and dynamics and bass extension of a midfield or a large mastering tower. And so if sort of the MM27 is a three-way, actually sort of a three and a half way, but if you kind of conceptualize it as this uber two-way, right? So it's functionally working as a two-way. If you think of that in those terms, then if you take that same analogy and then talk about the MM26, you can sort of think of it as a little three-way that has all this extra bass extension and power and dynamic range. So of course it's a four-way speaker, but I'm just talking about conceptually how it's going to sound, how it's going to behave and translate. So with the 26 you get, of course this is all relative. The 27 has all these amazing properties of its own, but the 26 takes the mid-range and just gives even more depth and more transparency and sort of openness. So so they're two different flavors. I don't see one as being as replacing the other or anything like that. It's just now you have this choice of, do you want the sort of more classic way that the MM27 approaches it, or now you've got the 26. People are going to hear that mid-range and they're going to say, absolutely, I must have that. So. And then on the technical side, the 26 follows the 27 in most regards. Still the dual 10-inch side-firing woofers. In this case, it's the speakers intended to be laid down horizontally like this. So it's now top and bottom firing subwoofers, but it doesn't matter. They're omnidirectional. And those go up to 100 hertz, crossing over to the two mid-bass drivers. And these actually, whereas in the M27 Gen 2, they actually have slightly different frequency ranges that they work in. These both now work in identical frequency ranges, both crossing over at 600 hertz to the mid-range driver. And then the mid-range driver is actually, it's the same driver that's in the MM12 and the MM45. It's this amazing speaker. It's aluminum cone, has just this whole array of distortion reduction technology that and it works as a perfect piston out to 20 kilohertz. Of course, I always take the approach of trying to do everything that's just overkill. So I over-design everything and then kind of try to limit it. So nothing is ever working hard. Everything is just in its comfortable zone, being as linear as it can possibly be. So. And then it's got this, you can't see it inside right now, but there's a cool 3D printed enclosure for the mid-range. It has this internal waveguide. There's new pedestal feet here that are 3D printed out of aluminum polymer composite. So I'm like a kid in a candy store with 3D printing now, because it's a really wonderful, amazing technology. allows me to build things that we just really could not be built any other way. So yeah, there it is, the 26.
And Thomas, the last word, when they can get those?
They can get them at Floating Point Audio in France.
Thank you so much, Thomas.